This short is part of a longer video on electronics used in Bryce Falls. Have a look at part 4. There are a number of things on my layout that require an alternative power sources at various voltages. Arduinos and other associated boards typically require 5-volt sources, while I usually run my LEDs and other automation through 12-volt sources. So the real challenge here was trying to avoid all kinds of power adapters hooked up to the layout. It can become messy and expensive. The goal became building a single power supply that could be hooked up to various buses to provide 12 volt, 5 volt, and 3.3 volts for the layout. I have included the shopping list to create my solution. Ultimately, I removed an ATX power supply from an old PC, keeping the native 24-pin plug in place. This is plugged into an XH-M229 ATX transfer board I ordered from China. Then wired this to the transfer board to a single 12-position terminal block that was wired to another terminal block, which became the starting point for the various voltage power buses under the layout. Initially, I was only adding the 12 and 5 volt buses. I wanted to monitor consumption at the voltage and amperage levels, so each power line from the ATX transfer board was wired through a volt amp meter placed in line prior to the initial terminal block. These meters turned out to be very enlightening as I operate and add items to the layout. My layout is divided into 4 sections that I can physically separate. To make wiring simpler, on a disconnect I use a lot of terminal blocks underneath the layout, which avoids any cutting. Probably overkill, but I have diagrams for every terminal block. This does help if you're trying to trace issues. This temporary control panel contains the yard power switches for various tracks. This minimizes the noise coming from some sound-equipped locos when they are sitting idle. The turntable is run on a 12 volt through the rheostat. This is an older Walther's turntable, so it is not indexed and cannot be fitted with the latest offerings. We'll be swapping this rheostat out for one that has reversible capabilities. As stopping the turntable perfectly is tough, and you don't want to have to make a complete rotation to try again and again. Light switches are available for various lights in the yard. We found this helpful.